Hi, everyone, and welcome back. This week, we are going to be looking at Chapter 10 and Chapter 11, which deals with mass communication and media literacy. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing that I want you to think about is how attached are you to media consumption? I want you to think about your day from beginning to end and how much you are connected to maybe your cell phone, watching the television, and that could include Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whatever it might be, or even listening to the radio or having listening to Spotify or Pandora. How many hours a day do you think you spend connected to media? It's probably a lot. And you can even check the screen time on your phone to see how much time you're spending solely on your phone. But on average, most Americans are spending 12 hours a day connected to media, which is astounding. It's quite a lot. We know that mass communication is communication occurring between mass media and their audiences. You can see all the different types of mass media here on the PowerPoint. It largely follows that one-way communication model. We have a sender, medium, and a receiver. And the only way that mass media companies are largely getting information or feedback is through inferential data, that numbers like how many people tuned in to watch a certain television show. Or maybe you have an Instagram or TikTok and you know how many people tuned in to watch your TikTok video or how many people liked your Instagram photo. We do it largely through inferential or quantitative data with mass communication. There's a lot of different effects that we need to consider. If you are consuming 12 hours of mass media on a day to day basis, how has that started to shape your life? Maybe you are learning lots of different things by watching television shows or even scrolling through social media. In some way or another, social media and mass media has influenced your values, your beliefs, and your behaviors in some way. We can have a lot of positive impacts that can come from this. Maybe we're more informed about the world around us, or maybe we know about different things that are happening, but it can also have a lot of negative impacts. The book describes some of these as texting and driving, or maybe even as having like a shorter attention span, or even that of cyberbullying. Be thinking about what are you picking up from watching mass media and engaging with it on a day-to-day basis? What do you know more about? And try to think of how it has influenced your values, your beliefs, and your behaviors to some degree. We know that interpersonal communication is that between two people. Mass communication, we know, is going to involve millions of people. And that's the fundamental difference. Whenever you're even becoming a content creator and putting things out there on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and it's going to lots of different people, how do you change your own communication style? One of the great things that I like about interpersonal communication is that it's immediate. It involves direct feedback. Whereas with mass communication, it's delayed and it's inferential feedback. Think about it in terms of this class. If I'm in a classroom, I'm engaging in these lectures, I'm asking about my students' experiences. But really, what I can see from an online class and putting videos on YouTube is really the number of people who have tuned in to watch the lecture. With interpersonal communication, we know that messages are flexible and alterable. I can talk to someone, cross paths with them, and then based upon how they're reacting to me, I can change my message. I can change things up. However, with mass communication, once it's out there, it can't really be changed. Uh, One of my favorite examples of this is during the 2017 Oscars. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway announced the wrong winner for Best Picture. You can go on YouTube and look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. They were given the wrong envelope and announced La La Land, the movie, instead of the movie Moonlight. And they're on live TV, and everyone from the film La La Land is so happy. They get up there with the Oscars and they're giving their speeches, and then someone comes out with the correct envelope to show that actually Moonlight won. And there's this gasp from the audience, and everyone is shocked. And Warren Beatty had to explain himself, and it took the attention away from the real winners. It was crazy. But once it's out there, it can't be changed. And I think many of us might even know this from social media that, we post something, someone can screenshot it, and it's always going to be out there forever. And then we know the last difference is that communication can be personally relevant with interpersonal communication. And then with mass communication, it's often very formulaic. And one of the things that I would have you do is look at your Instagram. You might even have a style on there of how you put out information. Maybe all your photos start to have some type of common thread. Even the evening news is formulaic. You've got quick stories, 2 to 3 minutes, even less. Hard news is in the beginning, feel good stuff, or if it's local sports, comes at the end. People really like that predictability. They know that we're going to start with the highlights, then about 10 minutes, we're going to get to the weather. After the weather, we're going to go to sports, and then we're going to end off like a half an hour newscast with like a feel good story. And even your favorite television shows, from reality TV to even CSI, Law and Order, they start to follow the same format with every single episode because people really like predictability. To quote the book again, Dealing with Culture, to fully grasp the true influence of media, we must understand mass media as cultural storytellers who's shaped our ideas, feelings, and thoughts through the messages that they send, ultimately shaping and defining our reality. So stop and think about, what does that mean? How has mass media shaped your reality? Mass media, the changes that we see in our life might be subtle. Maybe our favorite television show could be giving us ideas about politics. It can start to shape our ideas in that way. Or maybe we see a character who's wearing a really cool outfit and we're like, I want to look just like that as well. So in some ways, the media isn't influencing you, and they're all creating these stories about where we are as a country. A lot of us like to think that we are not influenced by all these commercials or even things that we see in television shows. No way are we being influenced, but someone else is. That's what you would call the third person effect, is where you personally don't think that you are being influenced by all the advertisements that we see on a day-to-day basis, but somehow another person or other people are. Take some time and really think about that. How are you influenced by the media that you are consuming? And how are you adding to this cultural narrative that is ongoing? Some of the characteristics about mass media, you could be a platform agnostic. That means that our new favorite song comes out and you want to jam to it, and you don't really care if you're on Spotify or YouTube or even Pandora. You just want to hear your favorite song. A platform agnostic doesn't commit to one platform. However, that kind of goes against what a lot of different companies are trying to get you to do. They want you to buy in. I know myself, I don't necessarily fall into a platform agnostic type category. I would say that if I'm listening to music, I use Apple Music. That's where I get it all from. Maybe in certain aspects you aren't committed to a platform, but in other ones you are. Whenever you turn on the TV, maybe you're that person who can flip through Netflix, Hulu, HBO. It doesn't really matter. You just want to find something to watch. However, there could be some of you who turn on the TV and